Good morning, guys. Sometimes I think about my past and people I've met in the world and people that tried to manipulate me or take advantage of me, and I wonder, how the fuck you thought I was stupid, motherfucker? Like, nah, for real, for real. I have taken down TD Bank, got my mom all her overdraft fees. They got like $400. I went straight into the bank, called customer service, and I tactically, logically used their policies against them and admitted that they did not notify my mom of a check. And I was able to print out a whole bunch of documentation and everything, and prove that it was their error that caused all the 460 something dollars in overdraft fees, right? And not only that, I went into their office just before closing time because their employees don't give a fuck about TD Bank keeping the money. They'll be like desperate enough to be like, you know what? Yeah, I just told them simple. I need you to mathematically show me how these overdrafts do not stem from this one charge that was on my mom's account that you didn't notify her of. She has a written documentation of her charges, so she didn't know that this came out. So all this was a cascading effect that took $400. I got my mom money back. My mom ended up giving me like $150. I was like, oh, thank you. She was like, no, thank you. Not to mention my landlord, they had me living with mold. Unfortunately, they didn't know I worked for a cable company, and I was able to go into the records of my own account just to see how many motherfuckers had service there. I had to ask a colleague of mine to up my address and just to see the history, and it looks like people were just moving in and out, so they knew that place had mold. So I meticulously documented every email, every phone call, every text message, every work order, and everything. They tried to take me to court, but I wasn't sick leave because of the mold. So when they went to court and the lawyer seen the documentation I had, he just looked at the landlord and was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he was shaking his head. And she was whispering to him, I never seen a tenant get a lawyer before. Yeah, bitch, I got a lawyer because you were kicking out a man that had cancer. And it was your fault that the man's rent didn't get paid because y'all didn't take the auto pay out of his account. Y'all set him up with the auto pay, but it was Aaron. Nobody notified or asked him or told him about any missed payments. And so you had a cancer patient going in there for eviction. I said, fuck no, I'm getting a lawyer. But at the end of the day, that got me respect. And I'll tell you why it got me respect. That landlord never tried me to fuck again. Anytime I had an issue, it got fixed right away. Anytime I seen a tenant that had an issue, I'd be like, tell them you're Kristen's cousin, and they'll just go ahead and fix it because, I hold weight I held weight in my old complex. They were so happy that I got a house. Like most landlords, they be fighting. They was like, oh, no, you don't even need to give 60 days. You can give us a 30-day notice. I swear, it's this fucking face. Like, this face. Ugh! They see me as a pretty face. Think I'm a dumb blonde. And when they come with their manipulation games, I'll be ready. Silently, watching, tactically, seeing what you're looking to do, seeing where you're going with it. Sometimes I have 5 plans. Sometimes I have 3 plans. Sometimes I have a direction of which way you're going to go. Because the sad truth for me, and maybe for others out there, is that all of you guys have routines, are predictable, are set in your ways. And that is a downfall towards a person like me. And when people try me, sometimes I do nothing. But it does not mean I didn't have a plan in my head to do something if I wanted to. Some people just think people walk away just for the fun of it. Some of us walk away because we don't want jail time. I remember one time this old biddy called the police on my car when it was unregistered, and they put a big ass sticker on my shit. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna buy a paintball gun and shoot out all her fucking windows. I knew exactly how I was gonna do it. I was gonna go to the back of the park, sniper style, get a long range a long range BB gun and shoot out every one of her windows. But unfortunately, I have a 3-month rule where I have to wait and ruminate on that. And I think about all the consequences, jail times, and the possibilities of getting caught. And then after the 3 months is up, I decide not to do anything. But when it comes to corporations, I'd be like, fuck you, I'm gonna get you bitches back. Yeah. With the landlord, I called the governor's office, I called the health inspector. I called so many people that they was like, yeah, this is not the bitch to fuck with. I even got her on video saying, if it was anybody else, when they had to replace my pipes, they fixed it in 5 days because they said it would take 5 days. And they knew I would hold them to those 5 days. And I got credit for the days I wasn't in my apartment. They didn't pay for the hotel, but they did give me the credit for the days in that apartment because I was like, no. Because how you going to call someone and be like, do you have another place to stay? Well, don't you read leases? They said you cannot stay in another place for more than 3 days. So I would be violating the lease of another corporation. Remember? Remember your rules? I can throw those back at you, bitch. So yeah, I'll be looking at people and I'll be like, you've seen me do some amazing things, yet you thought I was stupid. Maybe I am stupid in love. Yeah. Be like boo boo the fool in that moment. But I still have my mind and I'll just be like, yeah, you don't like me, do you? I'm just not the bitch that corporations or people can fuck with because I'm always going to have a plan. I always tell people I'm a calculated ass bitch. I say that with pride. Not because I think I'm smarter than you, but because if you try me, we gonna find out who's smarter. But remember, God loves you and I love you too, but not in a weird way. Get my hair done today.